Ladies and gentlemen and ladies and gents, we got about four things. Four. Number four things we need to talk about. I didn't say four, I said four. Fee, fi, four. Okay, we got four things we need to talk about. One of those four things we need to talk about is what is wrong with Mexico? On March 9th, ever wonder why March 9th was so important to Congress and the President of the United States in 1933? On March 9th, do you ever wonder why that was so important? Well, take a look. This was the first documented finding of gold, thus, California being the Golden State. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, March 9th, I was always wondering why did they choose March 9th? March 3rd was significant because that was Inauguration Day. March 3rd was significant because that was Inauguration Day. But March 9th? Congress could have met on March 10th. The president could have had a 5-day banking holiday proclamation, but he said four days. So I got to wondering, I just decided, let's look up March 9th and see. I find out that Mr. Bow Wow, who goes by his real name now, was also a March 9th person. And what else is March 9th? Bow Wow, Gold, Meatball Day. Literally, Meatball Day, March 9th. So, considering that they changed the gold standard in America, not by the June 5th and 6th Act. No. Without the March 9th Act, there is no June 5th and 6th Act. Now, you guys have been hearing me talk a lot about that act of Congress. Yeah, we were doing some Wisumama search. Let me get all of this. Yeah, we're going to talk about this right here, but not the basis for this particular video. Okay, just not the basis for it. But we got to talk, ladies and gentlemen. And so I got to find that ain't it. Is this it? That's ESCT. Y'all can have fun with that. That ain't gonna get you nowhere. Okay. I apologize. I have to pull up the document. Let's pull that back up. Nope, not that one. I gotta pull up the document. Nope, not that one. Oh, sorry. Let me show y'all. This is F Movies, frankincense movies, and this is the man that fell to earth. Free movies, F Movies. Dot Taxi. Don't do all the other ones. Dot Taxi is the one that I find has the least amount of pop-ups. Well, anyway, this ain't the one. Here it is right here. This is the one I wanted. The very same page I was already on. This is the document that we need to go to. Ladies and gentlemen, this is just the CRS report. This was the report made for Congress. I want to read you something. As enacted by the national emergencies, let's make this bigger so y'all can see what I can see. Okay. Stop it. Google, what you doing? As enacted, the National Emergencies Act of 1976. Pay attention. The National Emergencies Act of 1976 consisted of 5 titles. Diversities generally returned all standby statutory authority or delegation of power, delegation of emergency power, activated by an outstanding declaration of national emergency. In other words, national emergency declaration had never been rescinded, to a dormant state 2 years after the statute's approval. So it means all the other so-called national emergencies that existed prior to 1978 were null and void. Got rid of them. Come on, let's pay attention. However, The National Emergency Act did not cancel the 1933, 1950, 1970, and 1971 National Emergency Authority. Nevertheless, wait, why? Because the president issued them pursuant to his Article 2 constitutional authority. Nevertheless, it did render them ineffective. How could it render them ineffective? Their presidential proclamations. Congress has no jurisdiction over the president or his authority. They gave him the authority. That's why he said, by the authority vested in me as a result of the October 6th, 1917 Act, the Trading with the Enemy Act. So it couldn't render them ineffective, and Congress had no authority over him because the president was using his authority under the act. This was the national banking holiday. It was an emergency. Now, what you all don't know, that's what that other document we were going to. This document right here, this is taken from page 78. This is taken from page 78 of the Congressional Record of March 9, 1933. Now, I highlighted certain things, but the one thing that I want to highlight is we're going to go down, it's in yellow. Yellow, yellow. The right to alter, amend, or repeal this act is hereby expressly reserved to Congress. If any provision of this act, any provision, ladies and gentlemen, you have provisions in contracts. Remember, this was a bill of exchange. It involved money, it involved parties, it involved competent age, it involved give and take consideration. Wait till you guys see what it says about consideration. Or application, pay attention. An application is a contract. Do your case law search on application. An application is a contract. All you got to do is put that in there. You'll see an application is contract. Thereof, to any person or circumstances, is held invalid. So if any provision is deemed to be invalid, unconstitutional, the remainder of the act and the application of such provision to other persons or circumstances shall not be affected. Yay! So that means no matter what anybody else says about any other provisions, all the other provisions remain in effect. Hold on. So what are you saying? Well, ladies and gentlemen and ladies and gents, what we are saying is this right here. Because the president issued them pursuant to his Article 2 constitutional authority, they still remain intact. Because they're not canceled. The president has never terminated it. But let's see what Congress had to say. You guys mind if we go see what Congress had to say? Now, what I'm going to do, because as I tell people, the best way to search in Microsoft Word is to search using replace. Don't use find. Find is all over the place. So we're going to go with termination. Okay, we just going to go find next. Oh, come on now. Go to the top of the document. Wait a minute. Hold on. Give me 1 second. I think I'm spelling termination wrong, and I believe I am. Sorry. Let's see. There we go. Terminated, not termination. All right, let's find out. No such circulating notes shall be issued under this paragraph. Now, I want you to pay, we're not focused on the circulating notes, not right now. We're focused on this part. After the president has declared by proclamation that the emergency recognized by the president by proclamation of March 6, 1933, known as Presidential Proclamation 2039, has terminated. The president has to terminate it, not Congress. Congress recognizes the same thing because that's exactly what Congress says on page 78 of the Congressional Record for March 9, 1933. After the president has declared the proclamation that the emergency recognized by the original proclamation. There has been no proclamation. You've had Truman's proclamation, but he only got rid of the requirement for the national banking associations to be licensed. They don't need a license to operate federally. Sorry, Charlie, but understand it has not been terminated. Whew, I am so glad we got that out of the way. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have one last thing that we need to show because remember, some of you have been receiving information that your junk ain't working, ain't gonna work, don't need to work. I need to pause y'all for a second, okay? Because right after that, I have to pause. Give me 1 second. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the first thing we're gonna do is we need to let you know that you need some power, okay? So y'all can be snapping. I've got the power. You need some power. So let's give you some power. This is the Presidential Proclamation. Presidential Proclamation. This is 2039, the March 6th, 1933 Presidential Proclamation. Okay? It is 2039. And want to let you know, see, it says March 6th through 9th. We're not concerned about March 6th through 9th. That was the original indication for the banking holiday, but as we've already shown you, Congress continued the holiday. That's why it says it's still in effect. We just read it. Stay with me, though. March 6, 1933. The president says that there is an emergency. No, he doesn't just say there is an emergency. He says there is an extraordinary emergency. See? Whereas those conditions have created a national emergency. Uh-oh. Ladies and gentlemen, he says, I need to rely on something. Whereas it is provided in Section 5B of the Act of October 6, 1917, as amended, that the president may do what? Regulate, investigate, prohibit, under any such rules and regulations as he may prescribe. So he has given a prescription. Y'all, and the president can give prescriptions. Don't worry about it. He ain't a doctor, but he can sure be called when you need some help and aid by means of license or otherwise. See, he can even give out licenses. Need a license? Need an application. Any transaction in foreign exchange and the export, hoarding, melting, earmarking of gold, silver, we're not even concerned about any of this. But we are concerned about currency. And whereas Section 16 of that act, the October 6, 1917 Act, says that when whoever shall willfully violate the act shall be fined or in prison. Now we need to give you the authority that y'all need to be operating under. Now I therefore, Franklin D. Roosevelt, President of the United States of America, in view of such national emergency, and by virtue of the authority vested in me by said act, and in order to prevent all of this junk, do hereby proclaim, order, direct, and declare. Hold on now. Proclamation, presidential order, presidential directive, and a presidential declaration. 4 things in one. That from Monday, we don't care about that because none of that makes any difference. That's why both dates are inclusive. So they included all the dates. And when Congress said, hey, we second that emotion, they continued the holiday indefinitely. That's why Congress has said until the president terminates it. No president has terminated it. Donald Trump could have terminated it, but if you terminate the March 9, 1933 Act and the Presidential Proclamation, you declare the banking emergency to be over. That means they're out of bankruptcy. Uh-oh. The people get to demand their gold back. Uh-oh. And the foreign nations get to demand payment. Uh-oh. Oh, snap. Sorry. I've got the power. Anyway, there shall be maintained and observed by all banking institutions and all branches thereof located in the United States of America, including territory, insular possessions, a bank holiday. During said period, all banking transactions, common law, shall be suspended. during such holiday, except, there's an exception to the rule, except as hereinafter provided, no such banking institution or branch shall pay out, export, earmark, or permit the withdrawal or transfer in any manner, whether it's foreign or local, domestic, or whatever, or by any device, any means whatsoever, any gold or silver coin, bullion, or currency, or currency, or currency, so it's not just gold, it's currency too, or take any other action which might facilitate the hoarding thereof, nor shall any such banking institution, it's either banking institution or banking institutions, pay attention, or branch pay out deposits, make loans or discounts, deal in foreign exchange, transfer credits from the United States to any place abroad, or pay attention, or transact any other banking business whatsoever. Oh my God. Here's the exception to the rule, ladies and gentlemen. During such holiday, the Treasury Secretary, with the approval of the President, see, presidential authority, and under such regulations as he may prescribe, is authorized and empowered to permit any and all such banking institutions, to perform any and all of the usual colorable law. It's not exact, it's just usual banking functions. To authorize and direct the creation of such banking institutions of special trust. Pay attention. Direct the creation in such banking institutions of special trust. Focus on that, y'all. Special trust account. For the receipt of new deposits. You can have deposits in your own bank. What? That's right. Wait a minute. It ain't told me I have a bank yet. Why don't you get to that point first before you tell us about making deposits into, as used in this order, the term, because it's not a phrase, it's not a word, it's not a group of words, it's a legal term. Banking institutions or banking institution, like I said, it's going to be with an S or without, shall include all. That's your favorite word right there. Persons engaged in the business of transacting any form of banking business. You deposit money, you make loans, then you are a banking business. You give people discounts. Man, I lend you $50. Now I see how your shiesty self is. You only got to pay me $40. They give discounts. They banking institutions. So, again, ladies and gentlemen, says to direct, require, or permit the issuance of clearinghouse certificates. Oh, my stars. Hold on a second. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I created this a couple of months ago. Still working on it, okay? And when I created this instrument, I'm putting it here so y'all can see it, but y'all gonna say y'all videos is too cheap and y'all don't know what y'all doing, and so y'all can't see it. So I'm gonna let y'all see it. I'm not gonna tell you to follow this. This is just something I just created, ladies and gentlemen. I created it on the fly. Like an eagle to the string. Fly like an eagle with my spirit carry me, y'all. I'm sorry. Anyway, and while I created this on the fly, that's why I deleted all my information. See, special purpose credit. What's a special purpose credit? Do your research. Sorry, I apologize. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not telling you to do this. Hold on. Look, y'all need to come with me. Okay? Y'all need to pay attention. Direct, require, and permit the issuance of clearinghouse certificates. Wait a minute. to authorize and direct the creation in such banking institutions of special trust accounts for the receipt of new deposits, which shall be subject to withdrawal on demand without any restrictions or limitations. We keep thinking that this is the banking association setting up bank accounts for you guys. You guys understand that they're holding those accounts in trust. What's your account number? Oh no, we're just custodians of the account. It is your account. You control the account, sir. Yes, you can close it whenever you feel like it, but remember, closed account is not ever closed. It still remains open for discharge. So because it still remains open for discharge, then yeah, you can't deposit anything into a closed checking account, but you can discharge stuff. Okay, gotta go. Have a good day. Okay, so let's get back to the clearinghouse certificate. Wasn't planning on showing you guys this. I'm just deciding to show it to you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, see that right there? That shows you, but that's wrong. You can't send it to the Department of the Treasury because that's for the Federal Reserve. This is what I was working on at first. This is me showing you that I ain't no joke. I used to let my mic smoke, but then I throw it down and make sure it's broke. Anyway, sorry, it's Rockham, R to the A to the K-I-M. You know what I'm saying? All right. You don't know what I'm saying? Well, you better go learn. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to understand something. This document is 37 pages long. It's not 37 pages long. I'm putting together something for our SAT packers that's going to include the necessary information. Only for the SAT packers. This is not for you guys. This is me letting my SAT packers know that they are my focus now. All week long, it's all nothing but SAT packs. Even our meeting tomorrow as an organization, we are talking about our SAT packers. They are our main focus. We have been technically working on the SAT packers for the last year. I just had to get back and organize everything. And now that we've gotten everything where it should be, now it's time for us to start taking care of the finite things. So that's what I'm doing all day today, is working on SATCOM stuff. However, now that we pulled this out of the way, because we can pull this out of the way, I just wanted to show you that. Get out of here. I already seen The Man Who Fell to Earth. The episode yesterday was okay. The first two episodes, man, on hit. But then they had two episodes after that that was so janky. It's like, what the y'all doing? Where y'all get these ignorant writers from? Ladies and gentlemen, let's pay attention to this again. However, the National Emergency Act, did not cancel the March 6th, 1933 Proclamation. So let's get that in our understanding. I don't want that. Get that back up there. So the act stays into effect until the president, by proclamation, terminates the March 6, 1933 Act. Okay? We just showed you what the president did on March 6, 1933. Just in case you don't understand what's going on here, done in the city of Washington, this 6th day of March at 1 a.m. What the flying fart? Why 1 a.m.? Why is it March 6th at 1 a.m.? 1 a.m. What's that fool doing up at night? That's when the freaks come out. The freaks come out. The freaks come out. The freaks come out at night. Anyway, hut, hut, hut. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you know what I just realized? That fool said hut, hut, hut in a rap. That's all right. You know, hut, hut, hut. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, so that some of you get this, because some of you are not going to get this. Each of you are banking institutions. You have not been operating as banking institutions, although you've been performing the functions of banking institutions. What do you mean? Well, you have been engaged in the business of banking. You've been making deposits, giving out loans, receiving loans. That's banking business. You've been issuing banking paper. Ladies and gentlemen, a bill of exchange is banking paper. A promissory note is banking paper. Go back and pay attention to what Congress is saying. You've been dealing and transacting in banking business by handling Federal Reserve notes, which are only to be used by Federal Reserve banks and their membered banks or agents. Go back and look at 12 USC 411. But we do have to bring some information to your attention. We have some bad news. We are sorry to explain that the following does not exist anymore. 12 USC 95, but there's some good news. It's been moved to 50 USC 4305. So they took it, don't use 12 USC 95, don't exist anymore. They moved it to 50 USC 4305. Now, we want y'all to understand designation of legal holiday for National Banking Association and exceptions. Whew. Let's find out. We're not going to read this whole thing. We know that the president gives the people authority. That's the whole issue, see? During such emergency period as the president of the United States by proclamation may prescribe, no member bank of the Federal Reserve shall transact any banking business except to the extent and subject to the regulations, limitations, and restrictions as may be prescribed by the Secretary of the Treasury and the approval of the president. Any individual, that includes you, if a natural person, that's right, that includes you, but since you're included, let's see what benefits are here for you. All right. Now remember, there are a lot of events that can happen, and events of natural calamity, riots, insurrection, war, and other emergency conditionings occurring in any state, not just in Washington, D.C. and the whole United States, any state, whether caused by acts of nature or man, comptroller of currency may designate by proclamation. Hold on. Y'all need to pay attention. The comptroller of the currency may designate by proclamation. The comptroller of the currency has no authority to issue a proclamation. Hold on. The comptroller of the currency may designate by proclamation. The comptroller of the currency has no authority to issue a proclamation. The comptroller of the currency is under the executive branch, and Congress does not have the authority to give a member of the executive branch authority. That is for the executive branch to give. The executive branch can share the authority, but Congress cannot delegate authority to a particular branch of government. Sorry, they're sub branches. Let's continue, okay? Whew. It says designate by proclamation any day a legal holiday for the national banking associations located in that state. In the event that the emergency conditions affects only part of the state, the comptroller of the currency may designate only that part. Okay? Now, let's play. Ladies and gentlemen, his name was Thomas Clark Nelson, and he helped us to understand the following. For the purpose of this subsection, the term state, see, it's a term, so do not ever think that this is a word. The term state is a legal term, so that means they create special definition. Means any of the several states, which under statutory interpretation, we can ignore this whole statement. When it says means any of the several states, we can ignore that. The District of Columbia, we can ignore this because everybody knows that the District of Columbia is not a state. So we can ignore that. The Commonwealth of Puerto Rico, everybody knows that Puerto Rico is an island. It is not a state. It is a commonwealth. So we can ignore that. Puerto Rico has never been a state of the United States. The Northern Mariana Islands, we know that this island is not a state of the United States. Guam is not a state of the United States. The Virgin Islands, not a state of the United States. The American Samoa, not a state of the United States. The Trust Territories, you all need to pay attention to that. All of the island territories are held in trust. All of the Indian reservations are held in trust. Do your research on it. You're going to find that to be interesting. But these are not states. And any other territory or possession of the United States. Now, they can do, a state can mean any other possession of the United States, but that doesn't work either, because those are not states. Now, pay attention. March 9, 1933. That's where this is coming from. So let's see what amendments have been made to this. You guys mind if we check to see what amendments? Okay, look at this. A state of, a state or a state official. So they substituted some junk. And then they talk about this public law. Public law 97-320 substituted in the event of blah, blah, blah. We don't care about that. They substituted. They didn't amend anything. They didn't take anything out. Termination of trust territories of the Pacific Islands. The termination of trust territory of the Pacific Islands. Wait a minute. How did they terminate the Pacific Islands? The trust territories. What authority? Anyway, don't care. Oh, there it is. Proclamation 2039. There we go. Whew. I knew it was there somewhere. Sorry, I knew it was there the whole time. That's why we're here. Bank holiday of 1933. Bank holiday of 1933. Bank holiday of 1933. Proclamation 2039. Proclamation 2040. Proclamation 2070. We're not going to forget about Proclamation 2725. Okay, these are your four to focus on. 1, 2, 3, 4. Dated March 6, 1933. March 9, 1933. December 30th, 1933. Where's March 10th? Where is March 10th? March 10th. Where you at, March 10th? March 10th here somewhere, y'all. I can't. Oh, there it is. March 10th. See, executive order March 10th. So we there now. Ooh, oh, there it is right here again too. There it is. See, March 10th. So now that we got our dates together, respectively related to the temporary suspension of banking transactions beginning March 6, 1933. By all member banks of the Federal Reserve System. Pay attention. This is talking about the suspension of banking transactions beginning March 6, 1933. I want you to pay attention. Remember, it was only supposed to last for 4 days. So how could they be adding December 30th, 1933 if it was only supposed to be 4 days? See, the temporary suspension means that it continued past December. Let's continue. Pursuant to Executive Order 6073, dated March 10, 1933, formally set out as a note under this section, the Secretary of the Treasury, by order of March 11, 1933, has authorized all Federal Reserve banks and non-member banks and other banking institutions to resume their normal and usual banking functions on March 13, 1933, subject to certain restrictions. Why? Does that mean that the banking emergency was over? Well, let's see. We're going to go back up here and we're going to take a look at something so that you guys understand what was being done. It says, where are we at? Yeah, I think I'm going to have to go down. Well, give me a second. Got to find my mouse. Limitations and restrictions as may be prescribed by the Secretary of the Treasury with the approval of the President. Limitations and restrictions. So that means that he's still operating off of this. This is, see? During such emergency period as proclaimed by the President of the United States by proclamation may prescribe, no member bank of the Federal Reserve System shall transact any banking business. Okay? They had to suspend things. I used to do this in Puerto Rico when I was there. The inmates would be sitting up there asking for help in their case. So what I would do is I would tell them they need to correct the record. And I said the only way they can correct the record is they have to file something on the record, but they can't because they're represented by counsel. So what we did is a temporary suspension of counsel because only the client can suspend counsel. So they would suspend their counsel, file their motion, and then reinstate him, changing the terms of the contract. I had Amaru. He would, that was his last name, Amaru, he spoke broken English, but he spoke enough to where we could have a conversation. He came back and told me he was in court with another one of the guys who had one of these motions filed by Frances. Frances helped me file a whole lot of stuff. She printed them up for me, and all I did was had to add their names to it. Thank you, Miss Frances. Ladies and gentlemen, let me explain something to y'all. We had an attorney going, but Your Honor, he took away my powers. And they all started laughing. Okay? That's the games we used to play. So let me do this temporary suspension thing so that y'all get it. Remember, we're talking about a banking holiday here. The fifth and sixth paragraph of the order relating to the removal of gold coins. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, relating to the removal of gold coins. So pay attention. It wasn't the HJR 192 that got rid of gold. Gold bullion and gold certificates from the United States by corporations, etc., including banking institutions. You all, an authorization of banking institutions to pay out gold coin, gold bullion, gold certificates were revoked by this executive order of 1974. So we see the banking holiday continue. Let's continue, shall we? Because this is important. Exemptions of membered banks of the Federal Reserve System. This is Proclamation 2725. This was done by Truman. Notice what he says. I, therefore, Harry S. Truman, President of the United States of America, acting under authority and by virtue of the authority vested in me by subsection 5B of the Trading with the Enemy Act of October 6, 1917, amended as 50 USC 4305B. Pay attention. Amended as. So you all need to understand 12 USC 95 was amended. This is where they put it. And section 4 of the Act of March 9, 1933, 48 Stat 2, 12 USC 95 has been brought here, and by virtue of all other authority vested in me, do hereby, in the interest of internal management of government, proclaim, order, direct, and declare that the said proclamation of March 6th and March 9th is hereby terminated. I'm sorry. An executive order of March 10, 1933, as amended or further amended. Oh, not terminated? No, further amended, not terminated, huh? Further amended to exclude from their scope banking institutions which are members of the Federal Reserve System, provided, however, that no banking institution shall pay out any gold coin, bullion, or gold certificate except as authorized by the Secretary of the Treasury, or allow for the withdrawal of the currency for hoarding. The proclamation became effective March 15, 1947. Ladies and gentlemen, what happens is, if you go and read the act, it excluded them from being licensed. The people weren't licensed, and that's what he discusses in the proclamation. And so now they were making it so that the banks wouldn't be licensed. Okay, so why all of this talking today? Well, we needed to let you know that we're not just talking out the side of the necks. We're giving you the complete history so that you don't have to. Calgon! No, tidy bow. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, let me help you out just for a split second because some of you need this help. You've had banking institutions tell you that that is not an acceptable form of currency. Ladies and gentlemen, do not let them tell you that your junk is not an acceptable form of currency because you are a banking institution. Of course, it's an acceptable form of currency. Why? Because you have been authorized by the president to have a special trust account for receipt of these deposits. So as long as your bank recognizes it and receives it as a deposit, and as long as other banks recognize it and sees it as a deposit, then so be it. Now, to show you that the Presidential Proclamation 2039 recognize, pay attention, recognize banking institution, we don't want that one. We're going to go backwards. Because, see, this is the amendment to the Trading with the Enemy Act. How do you know it's the amendment? Pay attention. Subsection B of Section 5 of the Act of October 6, 1917, as amended, is hereby amended to read as follows. Let's find out what it says as follows, because we need to tell you where you get your authority from. That's the purpose of this video. We need to show you that you got authority. Can't nobody tell you you don't have the power to do certain things. During the time of war, well, we're going to stick with during the time of any period of national emergency declared by the president. The president may, through any agency as he may designate, and he designated you as a banking institution. You better go back and read it. I need this paragraph, so I don't want that section down there, but I do need this paragraph, so I'm going to copy it now. And yes, you can copy it this way. There will be some words that will be out of place, but you can always correct that. Okay, because I need the text of this document, because what I'm putting together, and I'm gonna let y'all know so that y'all understand. Whew. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm putting together something that says that the president recognizes my authority. Matter of fact, he's the one who gave it to me under his Article 2 authority. Y'all not been paying attention? Ladies and gentlemen, did I not just show you where the president, under his Article 2 authority, authorized this and authorized that? Give me a second. Let me get there. Not that one. No, I don't want that one. Where are you at? I forgot where I put it, y'all. Man, I just keep parking my car and I just can't get back to it. I know I had my car parked here somewhere. No, that's securities. I don't know where it is, y'all. I just don't know. Yeah, see, I don't know where it is. That's a Senate record. So y'all just gonna have to bear, cow, dog, duck, quack with me. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Any other period of national emergency declared by the president, March 9, 1933, is the period of emergency declared by the president. Presidential Proclamation 2039. Or March 6, I said March 9. March 6. Presidential Proclamation 2039. This was a declaration of national emergency that is still in existence today. It's a proclamation by the president. And the president said that he was acting, pay attention, under the October 6, 1917 Act. And he was delegating to you, okay, by license or otherwise. Well, you don't need to have a license. He never said that banking institutions such as yourselves needed to have a license. So what did he do? He otherwise granted you the authority, saying as long as you conducted the business of banking, you could conduct or transact banking business. That's why you're not going to be willfully in violation, because there are penalties. But anybody trying to interfere would be violating a presidential order. Remember, it's a presidential order. I, therefore, President of the United States, in view of such national emergency and by virtue of the authority vested in me by said act, in order to prevent, it doesn't matter what he's trying to prevent, he proclaimed and he ordered. So it is a presidential order. Okay? And what he did is included territories and possessions and all banking institutions. This is where you get the authority from. It's the presidential proclamation. Some of you are going to pay attention to this, so pay attention to what Congress said. Any agency that the president may direct or otherwise. Then he says, by means of license or otherwise. You see how they're quoting the president? Okay, let's get down here, because this is the point. This is what you're focusing on. Complete information relative thereto, including the production of any books, accounts, contracts, letters, or other papers in connections therewith. Remember, you got to keep records, people. That's what this is all about. In the custody or control of such person, either before or after such transaction, banking transaction, is completed. Whoever willfully violates this shall be blah, 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 and they give what the term person is. And they also talk about natural person. Ain't that interesting, huh? But you want to know what they don't do? They don't talk about the banking institution definition. because they didn't have the authority. Okay, they didn't have the authority. The president announced who a banking institution was. So let's find out one more again so that you understand. Banking institution as defined by the president, not by Congress. So what did the president define a banking institution as? Let's go back down here and see. Hey, president, what you say? Banking institution is persons engaged in the business of transacting any other form of banking business. So any form of banking business, you are a banking institution. So now you know where you get the authority from. Now you have Congress backing up that authority. Let somebody tell you now that your paper is worthless. Let somebody tell you now about some vapor theory doctrine. Let them tell you about that now. Now you have everything you need because I just took you there. I'll take you there. Ow, ow, mercy. And what I'll do is each one of these links, I'm going to take the time and put underneath the video. Okay, I'm not going to put the name for what each one of them is. The reason why I'm not going to do that, because you go do the research. Okay, not going to give you everything. But this should be enough to let all of you know. All of you are stressing. All of you are struggling. All of you are sitting up here arguing and yelling and screaming and hollering and they're about to take my home. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the banks cannot take your home if you issue them legal tender in the form of a promissory note. And you did the promissory note at the very beginning. All you have to do is make sure your promissory note is deposited with the Federal Reserve. Send the Federal Reserve a copy of your promissory note and file a consumer complaint with the Federal Reserve regarding your promissory note. That this, according to Congress, hold on, so that y'all, we got to get back to, this is page 12, so we can go to page 41. 41. 41. I'm sorry, I haven't used many Spanish words, Latin words, because it's not really Spanish, it's Latin. It's a derivative of Latin. All right? So leave me alone, ladies and gentlemen. I need y'all to understand, because some of y'all just, you're not going to get it no matter if I sit up there and put it right in front of your face and then slap you with it. It says, pay attention. Any notes. Well, you have a promissory note, which a draft, a bill of exchange, a banker's acceptance, and promissory notes, any notes, including Federal Reserve notes, which used to be on their face called promissory notes. Any notes are bills of exchange, ladies and gentlemen. They all equate to a bill of exchange. And it says acceptances, meaning bankers' acceptances, acquired by the Federal Reserve may be deposited with the Treasurer, but they are deposited with the Federal Reserve. Just that simple. Now look, I have a lot of people bringing forth all of these statutes and things. Now, I had one guy in his ignorance, because I told all of you, my emails are not for you to be commenting on videos about. If you're going to send information and you're going to send more than one, then you just simply go into the last email, hit reply, and put all your information in one stream of emails instead of sending me separate emails. This intelligent person sent me over 40 different separate emails, and after I warned him at about 24, I think it was 24, 36, something like that, he kept doing it as if it was okay. So he has been blocked. His junk won't even go to spam. He is just blocked from this point forward. I ain't got time. It won't go to archives. It just gets deleted automatically. I don't have time for the stupidity. I warned him. He didn't listen to me. So, que sera, sera. Hey, where's my girl at? Whatever will be, will be. Anyway, ladies and Jaja Gabor, come on now. Ladies and gentlemen, I think that's going to be about it. We'll put the links for each one of the places that I visited for you. This is going to be the last video this week. I've done too much. I put out too much information. So I'm going to give you time to let it marinate. Go back over the last couple of videos. I don't care if you're having a hard time hearing. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm using a Mac with Windows on my Mac. You see, well, you might not be able to see the Windows 10 right up here where the mouse is, but nonetheless, I'm using a Mac. And because I'm using a Mac with Windows on it, the audio, because they keep hacking the system, they keep hacking my system because they don't want y'all to get this information. It ain't my imagination. Once again, running away with me. It ain't my imagination. I can guarantee that this is what they're doing. You have no idea how I tried to do a video last week 4 different times on 3 different devices. And each time something went wrong with the video. Just that simple. That's why you don't see me redoing anything. If the audio doesn't come out, that's not me. Okay, if the audio doesn't come out correct, that's not me. I haven't changed anything. So when you're having problems hearing me on a video, use headphones. If you're having problem with the headphones, use a Bluetooth device where you can increase the volume. All right, hey, redress is O-U-T. Mama, what does O-U-P stand for? Oh, no, baby, he said O-U-T. Mama, no, I don't. I don't have to go potty. No, he's not saying O-U-P. He's saying O-U-T. But no, you said O-U-P. I heard you because I asked you what does O-U-P mean, and you